Good evening, this is TCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ninghui Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. Army Chief warns against false narratives, reaffirms India's commitment to displaced Myanmar refugees. Tensions erupt in Ukhrul over land dispute. Movement restricted to maintain law and order. 3, including 1, MR personnel died. News in detail. Indian Army Chief General Upendi Dwivedi has stated that India will continue to provide shelter to displaced people who have fled Myanmar due to the ongoing conflict there. He also cautions against the spread of false narratives surrounding the ongoing crisis in Manipur, particularly regarding its origins and the current situations on the ground. The Army Chief revealed that while the number of internally displaced persons (IDPs) initially surged to 60,000, it has since decreased to below 40,000. He expressed concern about the weaponizations of society, including the looting of arms, the emergence of underground organizations and women's groups formed for defensive purposes. Battle lines have hardened, General Dwivedi stated, adding that the army has recovered a large number of stolen weapons, which amounts to around 25%. He also revealed that he has held discussions with ex-servicemen to address the escalating situations as they are last bastions of national integration. Regarding foreign intervention, General Dwivedi emphasized the need for a national effort to resolve the complex issues in Manipur, acknowledging the historical challenges and the involvement of valley-based groups supported by elements across the border. He noted that similar allegations have been made against other groups, addressing concerns about misinformation. General Dwivedi clarified that, contrary to rumors, the Anglo-Kuki War Centenary Gate had not been burnt, a claim that had fueled unrest in the region. He also argues against allowing misinformation to shape public perception, dismissing claims of drone bombings and the infiltrations of 900 militants into the state as false. On the issue of illegal immigrations, General Dwivedi highlighted the conflict in neighboring Myanmar, which has displaced many people seeking refuge in India. He noted that Manipur and Mizoram have become safe havens for these displaced individuals and assured that India will continue to provide food and shelter to those in need for as long as necessary. Tensions flared today in Ukhrul districts as a land dispute between Hunpun and Hungpung villages escalated, prompting local authorities to impose immediate restrictions on movement in the area to maintain law and order. The conflict, rooted in a long-standing territorial disagreement between the two neighboring villages, has seen multiple confrontations over the years. According to official sources, the situations intensified when Hunpun village authority raised objections to a social work event organized by the Tangkhul Hunpun Youth and Students Organizations (THYSO) in the Hunpun area. The Ukhrul Superintendent of Police, through later number C 1 LNO 2024 SPUKL 7363, issued on October 2, 2024. Expressed concern over the potential for unrest arising from the event and the ongoing land dispute, which could lead to serious breaches of peace and public safety. In response to the heightened tensions, Subdivisional Magistrate Dingramgam Kamei invoked emergency power under Sections 163 of the B&SS 2023. The magistrate issued an order restricting movement in the affected area starting from 9:30 a.m. on October 2, 2024 until further notice. The order aims to prevent any actions or activities that could exacerbate the situations and threaten public safety, peace, and property. Exemptions to the order apply to government officials responsible for maintaining law and order and providing essential services. In exceptional cases, individuals seeking to organize processions such as for marriages or funerals must obtain prior written permission from the magistrate or the superintendent of police Ukhrul district. To ensure power enforcement of these measures, Hanyul Lokrungsung, SDC Ukhrul, and Ramay Zangmei, SDC, BODC Ukhrul have been designated as executive magistrate for the Ting Rasa and Ngapar areas respectively. Their role will be to oversee the situations and ensure compliance with the imposed restrictions. As tensions remain high, authorities are closely monitoring the situations to prevent any further escalations and ensure the safety of residents in both villages. Tensions between Hunput and Hongpung villages in Ukhrul districts erupted into violence today, resulting in the death of 2 civilians and 1 personnel of the 6th MR named Warren Me Rifleman number 1710401 of 6th MR Battalion Ukhrul. The confrontation, sparked by a long-standing land dispute, involved an exchange of gunfire, leaving several others injured. The deceased were identified as Ray Lung-won Hongray and Silas Jinkai. In response, the Subdivisional Magistrate SDM of Ukhrul has imposed a prohibition order effective from 9:30 a.m. restricting movement and banning activities that could further disrupt law and order. Additionally, internet and mobile data services have been temporarily suspended in Ukhrul district for 1 day, starting from 1:20 p.m. to prevent the spread of misinformation and maintain peace in the region. On September 27, 2024, 2 heartbreaking incidents occurred in Manipur. First incident was reported to be at Naisialving, where young boy named Jacob was drowned while playing near the river. Second incident happened at Bilateral, where a girl child named Baby Kim Ngai Sang, who was just a few months old, fell from a window overlooking the river and drowned. The search for the bodies has entered its 6th day. Philanthropic organizations swiftly responded with SDRF Manipur volunteers joining rescue efforts. Local organizations KKL, HYA, YVA, YPA, YMA, ZYO providing support. Gelzang Resort owner donating a boat for the search and operations. Individuals and groups donating food and essentials. A duty roster was organized for village patrols to assist in the search. The operations will continue until October 3. We extend our condolence to the families affected and appreciate the community's solidarity during this difficult time. Sarko Haukip, a town commander and public relations officer (PRO) of the United Kuki National Army (UKNA), was reportedly shot dead at his residence in Cherichampur's Kaprang village by unknown assailants. Sources say that Haukip was allegedly killed late Monday night by unknown armed men, though the exact motive remains unclear at the time of this report. His body has been sent to Cherichampur Medical College mortuary for further examinations. In a joint statement, Kuki Civil Society Organization CSO strongly condemned the brutal killing of Haukip, a resident of Kaprang village in Cherichampur. According to the statement, Haukip was abducted from his home in front of his family members before being killed. The statement was issued by leaders of Kuki in Cherichampur, Kuki Chiefs Association, Kuki Khanglai Lompi Headquarters, Kuki Students Organizations, and Kuki Women Union and Organizations for Human Rights. The CSOs expressed their dismay over the incident, stating, "In the midst of our ongoing conflict with our enemy, this internal violence is deeply unfortunate. The Kuki community will not accept any form of violence amongst us, and any group involved in this heinous crime will face condemnations from the Kuki populace." The civil societies also urged the public to avoid violent acts in the future. Indian Army, under the aegis of Spear Corps, collaborates with local handloom and handicraft startup named Project Women for Women on the occasions of Gandhi Jayanti to empower internally displaced women of Escalation village of Cherichampur district. The event features the distributions of essential weaving tools and yarn by J. Moy, allowing participants to start their journey in handloom productions in the violence-affected areas of the Churchampu district. By providing training and resources, Indian Army aims to foster creativity and craftsmanship among these women, offering them a pathway to financial independence. Indian Army continues to not only honor the spirit of Gandhi's teachings on self-reliance, but also provides a meaningful avenue for women to reclaim their identities and build a sustainable livelihood. 3 people, including 2 pilots, died after a private helicopter crashed and blew up in flames near Oxford Helipad in Maharashtra's Pune district on Wednesday morning, stated police. All the 3 casualties have been handed over to the police. The incident occurred around 6:45 a.m. in a hilly region of Bavdan, stated the Pimpri-Chinchwad police. They also added that 4 fire tankers from the Pune Municipal Corporation's PMC and the Pune Metropolitan Region Development Authority PMRDA are presently at the spot. We sent 4 fire vehicles along with 2 rescue vehicles. When we reached the spot, we saw that the chopper had crashed and all its parts had scattered. There was a smoldering fire, said Chief Fire Officer Devendra Prabhakar Potbot, reported ANI. He also added that the rescue team was able to extract 3 casualties, which have been handed over to the police. According to initial reports, the helicopter belonged to Heritage Aviation, which is based in Pune. It had a registration number VTEVV, the police said. The helicopter was carrying 3 people on board, 2 pilots, Paramjit Singh and G.K. Pilal, and 1 engineer, Pritam Bharadwaj. The chopper was chartered by Nationalist Congress Party (NCP) and was headed to Mumbai. It was scheduled to go to Juhu State, Vishal Gaikwad, DCP of Pimpri-Chinchwad. DGCA will investigate it. Police have cordoned off the area. Gaikwad was quoted as saying by ANI. While the exact cause of the crash is yet to be identified, police officials say that dense fog could have possibly led to the mistake. BJP Corporator Dilip Vedipatil said there were 2 captains and 1 engineer on board. After flying 1 kilometer, it met with the accident. There was fog in the morning. It should not have flown, but they went ahead anyway. 3 people died. Auditing of this helipad is not done. To ensure that such incidents do not occur again, we the locals will try to get this helipad shut down. Maharashtra NCP Chief Sunil Thakkare had used this helipad to fly to a few places yesterday. He returned here last night. We have come to know that the chopper was going to Juhu, where he was. The chopper had flown him in here yesterday. In August, a private helicopter flying from Mumbai to Hyderabad had crashed in Pune's port village. Although the 4 occupants suffered injuries, they survived the crash that occurred near the village, stated the police, reported ANI. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with his Jamaican counterpart Andrew Holness on Tuesday at Hyderabad House, where the 2 leaders discussed the state of bilateral relationship between India and Jamaica. Holness' visit to New Delhi is historic, as it marks the first ever visit by a Jamaican Prime Minister to India. His 4-day visit will continue until October 3. According to Ministry of External Affairs (MEA), both leaders have previously met on the sidelines of various multilateral forums. Earlier in the day, Holness paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. The MEA, sharing the pictures on social media platform X, wrote, "Honorable Father of the Nations, PM Andrew Holness of Jamaica offered floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat today." Both leaders are also scheduled to address a joint press meeting later in the day. In addition to discussions with PM Modi, the Jamaican Prime Minister is also slated to meet President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, and other high-ranking officials and business leaders. The MEA, while announcing the visit, stated, "This visit is expected to bolster bilateral relations, enhance economic cooperation, and solidify the long-standing bonds between Jamaica and India." The visit will provide an opportunity for Holness to interact with various dignitaries and engage with trade and industry leaders. Several memorandums of understanding (MOUs) are expected to be signed, further strengthening bilateral cooperation. India and Jamaica share a deep bond rooted in strong cultural and historical ties, with a shared colonial past, a commitment to democratic values, and a mutual patience for cricket. This visit is expected to significantly boost diplomatic relations and further economic cooperation between the two nations. Iran said on Wednesday its ballistic missile attack on Israel was finished, barring further provocations, news agency Reuters reported. Israel and its main ally, the United States, warned the Islamic Republic of retaliations after Tehran fired at least 180 missiles in response to killing of former Hezbollah commander Hassan Nasrallah. "Our action is concluded unless the Israeli regime decides to invite further retaliations. In that scenario, our response will be stronger and more powerful," Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in a post on X. Iran described its missile attack on Israel as defensive and was solely aimed at Israeli military facilities. 3 Israeli military sites were targeted, said Iran's state news agencies. The country said it responded to Israel's recent killings of militant leaders of Hezbollah and its aggressive military campaign in Lebanon and Gaza. In an indirect warning to Washington, Tehran warned that their regional assets will be targeted if they involve in a conflict and provide any military help to Israel. Any Israeli response to Tuesday's missiles attack will be met with vast destructions of Israeli infrastructure, Iran's General Staff of the Armed Forces said in a statement. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed retaliations to Iran attack. "Iran made a big mistake tonight and it will pay for it," Netanyahu said at the outset of an emergency political security cabinet meeting held inside a secure bunker in Tel Aviv late on Tuesday. US President Joe Biden expressed full support for Israel to defend itself and described Iran's attack as ineffective. Vice President Kamala Harris also echoed Biden and said the US would not hesitate to defend its interests in the region. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan promised severe consequences for Iran and said the US would work with Israel to make that the case. He did not specify on US response but avoided urging restraint from Israel as the US did in April when Iran carried out a drone and missile attack on Israel. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 31 people in Gaza on Tuesday, local medics said, and fighting ramped up as the Israeli military said it had been targeting command centers used by its Islamic militant foe Hamas. Palestinian health officials said at least 13 people, including women and children, were killed in 2 Israeli strikes on 2 houses in Nusayrat, one of the conclave's 8 historic refugee camps. There has been no immediate comment by the Israeli army on the 2 strikes. Another strike on a school sheltering displaced Palestinian families in the Rafah neighborhood of Gaza City killed at least 7 people, medics added. The Israeli military said in a statement that the airstrike targeted Hamas militants operating from a command center embedded in a compound that had previously served as Al-Shijaya School. It accused Hamas of using the civilian populations and facilities for military purposes, which Hamas denies. Later on Tuesday, 2 separate Israeli attacks killed 5 Palestinians in Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip and in the Zayton suburb of the Gaza City, medics said. In Khan Younis, in the south of the enclave, 6 Palestinians were killed in an airstrike in Israel on a tent housing displaced people, medics say. The armies of Hamas, the Islamic Jihad, and other smaller militant factions said in separate statements that their fighters attacked Israeli forces operating in several areas of Gaza with anti-tank rockets, mortar fire, and explosive devices. The renewed surge in violence in Gaza comes as Israel began a ground operations in Lebanon, saying its paratroopers and commandos were engaged in intense fighting with Iran-backed Hezbollah. The conflict followed devastating Israeli airstrikes against Hezbollah's leadership. The operation into Lebanon represents an escalation of the conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Iran-backed militants that threatens to suck in the US and Iran. Hezbollah began firing rockets into Israel almost a year ago in support of Israeli Hamas in the war in Gaza, which began after the militant group staged the deadliest assault in Israel's history on October 7. The assault, in which Israel says 1,200 people were killed and more than 250 taken hostage, triggered the war that has devastated Gaza, displacing most of its 2.3 million population and killing more than 41,600 people, according to Gaza health authorities. Some Palestinians say that they fear that Israel's shift in focus to Lebanon could prolong the conflict in Gaza, which marks its first anniversary next week. The eyes of the world now are on Lebanon, while the occupation continues its killing in Gaza. We are afraid that the war is going to go on for more months at least, said Samir Mohammed, 46, a father of 5 from Gaza City. It is all unclear now as Israel unleashes its force undeterred in Gaza, Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, and God knows where else in the future, he told Reuters through a chat app. A bus carrying young students with their teachers caught fire in suburban Bangkok on Tuesday, and at least 23 people on board were killed, officials and rescuers said. We found 23 bodies inside the bus, Trairong Pupan, head of Police Forensic Science Office, told reporters. The bodies of 20 children and 3 teachers were recovered, the BBC reported. The bus was carrying 44 passengers from central Uthai Thani province for a school trip into Ayutthaya and Nonthaburi provinces, Transport Minister Surya Zungrung Ryukit told reporters at the scene. Videos posted on social media showed the entire bus engulfed in flames with huge plumes of black smoke pouring out as it stood under an overpass. Bodies were still inside hours after the fire. The students on the bus were reported to be in elementary and junior high school. Interior Minister Anutin Charvirakul said the driver survived but appeared to have fled and couldn't be found. Rescuers and officials were able to access the bus hours after the fire was put out. Bialak said that they were still unable to identify the bodies, most of which were found in the middle and back seats, leading them to assume that the fire started at the front of the bus. Thai media reports and rescuers say the bus was heading to Nonthaburi when the fire started around noon in Pathum Thani province, a northern suburb of the capital. A rescuer at the scene told Surya that the fire likely started after one of the tires exploded and the vehicle scraped against a road barrier. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra offered her condolences in a post on social media platform X, saying that the government would take care of medical expenses and compensate the victims' families. As a mother, I would like to express my deepest condolences to the families, she said in a social media post on X, according to the Reuters news agency. The Rangsit Hospital, which is located near the scene, said in a news conference that it admitted 3 young girls, one of whom suffered burns to the face, mouth, and eye. Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli said on Tuesday that more than 4,000 people were rescued while 24 were missing in the rain-induced floods and landslides that have claimed 224 lives so far. In a press conference at Singha Durbar, Ali said that the government operates at its fullest capacity during the natural disaster. He said that the authorities have rescued 4,331 people across the country from the flooding disaster. According to official statement by Chief Secretary, on Tuesday, at least 224 people lost their lives, 24 were missing and 158 injured. Nearly 900 people, including foreign trackers, have been rescued by helicopters from different flood-hit areas in the last 2 days. Home Ministry spokesperson Rishi Ramtiwari said. The Kathmandu Post newspaper reported. The spokesperson said that Nepal Army choppers rescued 683 people, 425 people on Sunday and 258 on Monday. The rescue is ongoing, he said. Apart from disaster response conducted by the Nepal Army, private choppers have also been rescuing stranded foreigners, particularly in the mountain region, he added. The exact number of rescues conducted by private chopper is unknown, but operators said roughly 200 foreign trackers and a few Nepalis have been evacuated in the last 2 days. The disaster, which began on Thursday, continued to cause widespread destructions in multiple provinces until Sunday, leaving thousands displaced. Large parts of eastern and central Nepal have been inundated since Friday. However, the weather improved from Sunday in Kathmandu, providing some relief to the disaster-affected people. Incessant rain from Thursday to Saturday created havoc across the Nepal. The Kathmandu Valley suffered the most, where the death toll crossed 50. More than 20,000 security personnel, including from the Nepal Army, Armed Police Force and Nepal Police, have been deployed for all-out force of search, rescue and relief distribution. Those injured are receiving treatment at various health facilities, Home Ministry spokesperson Rishi Ramtiwari said. Similarly, those affected by the floods and landslides are provided with instant relief materials. The government has been giving priority to search, rescue and relief distribution. The efforts to resume the blocked roadways are currently underway, Tiwari added. Scientists say that while climate change is changing the amount and timing of rainfall across Asia, a key reason for the rise in the impact of floods is the built environment, including unplanned constructions, especially on floodplains, which leave insufficient areas for water retention and drainage. The floods and landslides have thrown life out of gear in many parts of the country, with many highways and road stretches disrupted. Hundreds of houses and bridges buried or swept away, and hundreds of families displaced. Thousands of passengers have been stranded in various places due to road disruption. At least 3 people were killed and 15 others injured after a man went on a stabbing spree inside a Walmart store in Shanghai. The police have identified the suspect as a 37-year-old who came to the city to vent his anger due to personal financial dispute. The incident on Monday night came on the eve of China's week-long National Day holiday, when the country sees a spike in tourism. The police confirmed on Tuesday that the suspect had been detained. The Walmart store is located in Shanghai's densely populated Songjiang area, which also houses several universities. According to police, the victim succumbed to the injuries in a hospital, while the injured person did not sustain life-threatening wounds and are believed to be out of danger. In recent months, China has witnessed a spike of knife attacks as the country has enforced a ban on firearms. A 10-year-old Japanese boy was stabbed to death near his school in the city of Zhejiang in September. In June, 4 U.S. college instructors were stabbed in a public park in the northeast city of Jilin. Meanwhile, in May, 2 people were killed and 10 others injured when a knife-wielding woman went on a stabbing spree at primary school in Jiangxi province. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.